Hello everybody, welcome to Deluxe Collectibles, and today I'm going to be doing a ranking video for the brand new Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker Episode 9 Funko Pops. This will include 15 Funko Pops in this ranking, and they are all from the brand new Wave 1 of The Rise of Skywalker. I'm really excited to be ranking all of these, and the way this video will be formatted will be starting with a ranking where I will rate every pop out of 5, then we will go to my wants of all of these pops, the ones that I personally would like to pick up. Then I will give my total score for the pops out of 70, and it will also include a percentage mark as well. And then at the end of the video, I will just give my final verdict on the wave and just kind of my final thoughts as well. So let's get straight into this. We're going to begin at number 15. Okay, so at number 15 here we have Zorii Bliss, and sorry if I mispronounce any of these names. I have not seen the film yet, of course, because no one has, because it has not been released yet, and you also have to keep that in mind within this ranking. For the ones that I give lower scores to, or just the ones that I don't include on my wants list, I'm solely basing most of this off of just their design. I haven't, of course, seen their role as a character in the film, so I'm not sure how important of a role they play, or if they're just more of a background character. I'm not too sure of that yet, so just take all of my rankings with a grain of salt, and always remember that they're just my personal opinions as well. My least favorite one might be your favorite one, so you never know really with this, but I'm just giving it my personal opinion here. So the first one here, as I said, is Zorii Bliss, and I think that the outfit here is fairly cool. I don't really absolutely love the helmet mold there. I'm not a huge fan of that. I think that it looks a little bit odd, but that does kind of fit with Star Wars. I mean, they have to create these very unique and wacky designs, I feel, to make characters stand out, because there's so many unique characters in the Star Wars universe. Even in just the background, you can make so many Funko Pops out of all of those, and Funko has been doing that, so who knows what this character's role will be in the film, but I'm not a huge fan of them, so I'm going to give this character a score of 1 out of 5. I know that seems really low, but it just seems like, I'm not a huge fan of this one. I'm not sure what your thoughts are. Feel free at the end of the video to leave all of your scores for every pop below in the comments section, because I'd love to hear your thoughts on them, or just let me know your top 3 or top 5 from the list here. But this one's going to be a 1 out of 5, so let's move on to the next one. Alright, at number 14 we have Rose. Now, of course, the infamous character Rose from The Last Jedi. Everybody adored her, and of course, I'm being sarcastic here. Rose got a lot of hate from The Last Jedi. You cannot really shy away from that. But when I originally saw the film, I didn't have as many large issues with it. But as I thought about it more and more, and as I revisited the film once it came out on home media, I started to notice the flaws, and I also was noticing that a lot of the flaws came from her character. So it made me not like her character as much. And also, this pop, just design-wise, isn't something super, unique or cool. I think that her hairdo in this one looks pretty unique. I do like how that comes out. I think her outfit's very simple, though, but I do like her little necklace there, because I'm fairly sure that's the one that her sister gave her. I'm not too sure about that detail, but I think that it is. And I think that her character looks pretty well designed here for what she is. It represents her pretty well, but for this one, I'm going to give it another 1 out of 5, because it's just not one that I'm a huge fan of, and just not even a character that I can really connect with as well. It's not like Rey, where she also has a fairly simple design, but I actually really enjoy the character, so it kind of ups her score for me. But for this one, I'm just not a huge fan of it, so that's why she is at number 14, and let's move on to the next one. Okay, so at number 13 we have Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, and this is a pop ride here, or a pop deluxe I suppose is what it would be called. And these pop deluxes, I am not a huge fan of them. I just don't like how kind of inaccurate they are. Obviously, you can't really fit like Kylo Ren, the actual Funko Pop, inside a ship of that scale, but it would be nicer, I feel, if we just had a miniature version of Kylo Ren within that shuttle there, because I just don't think that looks right. I think that it looks very weird, kind of like just a kid's toy, and I get that that's kind of what Funko Pops are, even though a lot more adults collect them, I feel, but I don't know, I just don't really love the design of this one. And these Pop Deluxes, at least in Canada, are like $40, so that's a little bit pricey for me, considering it's not even really an exclusive Kylo Ren here. He looks about the same as the one as the separate pop in this line, so I'm just not a huge fan of this one, so I'm going to be scoring it a 2 out of 5. I think that it looks alright. I like the color scheme with it, I will say that. I'm a really big fan of the combination of black and red. I like the stand as well, how it's lifting this up in the air, but just overall, I'm not a huge fan of it, so that's why it's at the spot it is, and let's move on to the next one. Okay, so at number 12 here we have Dio, and this is a new character here, or a new droid within the film, so I have no idea what role this character will play within it, but I'm going to be giving this one a 2 out of 5. I don't have a whole lot to say about this one. It's a very simplistic design, but I do kind of think it has a certain charm to it. It's kind of similar to BB-8, who does arguably have more like detail to it, but I think that they can give a lot of the droids a lot of personality, even though they don't all speak like C-3PO. I think that they can still make them really cute, so I think this character here has a lot of potential, and I think that the pop is very unique. I like kind of like the design of it, the rolling on one wheel aspect, so I do like this one, but it's still going to get a 2 out of 5 here, and let's move on to number 11. Okay, so at number 11 we have the First Order Tread Speeder, and this is a pretty cool pop ride here. See, this is the type of pop ride that I do like. I get that the other one is considered a Pop Deluxe, but I prefer the pop rides overall. I just feel like they look more accurate, and I really like this one because of the stand that it's on. I think that it's really cool how they still incorporated the Star Wars kind of logo on there, but it's still like a grainy sand sort of texture there, and I like the two troopers who are included on there. I think that they look really great, and just the tread speeder that they're on has a fairly unique design, so I do like that. So this one I'm going to be giving a 2.5 out of 5. I think that it's just an alright build. It passes here. I think that it's still kind of a cool design here, just not something that I'm super interested in, so that's why it's at number 11, and let's move on to number 10. Alright, so at number 10 here we have Lieutenant Connix, and this is a really cool design character here. See, I think this is a nicer design here than, let's say, Rose. I like how her hair looks here. I think that's cool how her brunette coloring is going into the blonde, like kind of on the ends of her hair there, and I think that her outfit looks pretty cool as well. I don't know if it's just why I ranked Rose lower was just because I do not like her character, and maybe I'm willing to give this character more of a chance than Rose, but I think that this one just has a little bit more charm to it, and I think that it's a nicer design. So for this one, I'm going to be scoring it a 2.5 out of 5, and let's move on to the next one. At number 9 here we have the First Order Jet Trooper, and now this one we saw included on the Tread Speeder, but now we get this pop individually, and I think that it has a very cool design. I've always been a big fan of all of the different troopers from the Empire side, so I think that this one looks really cool, or of course I guess the First Order side as it's called now, but I think that this one has a cool design. The only thing holding it back is just its very plain color scheme, but that's just how the stormtroopers appear, so I think that it still looks alright for what it is. I really like the head mold there, and the weapon that he's holding looks really great as well. So for this one, I'm going to be giving it a 3 out of 5. I think that it's a pretty cool design and looks very sleek. I think it would be cool if we had like a metallic version of it. I think that that would really make it stand out, but I think that nonetheless for this one, it's fairly good. And now we're going to move on to the next one. So at number 8 here we have BB-8, of course, and that really fits in the list here. I kid you not, I did not do this on purpose when I was actually making the list, but when I was rereading through it all, I was like, wow, that actually works out pretty well. And I think BB-8's a really cool character. I love, like, its kind of mannerisms in the film. I think that it's very funny and allows for a lot of comedic moments within it, but I'm just not a huge fan of the droids. I've never really been super into them. I do like R2-D2, but I've never been super into like C-3PO or just any of the other miscellaneous droids, so BB-8 never super caught on with me. And the main thing with the Funko Pop is also the scale here. I mean, if you put BB-8 beside, let's say, Rey, they're the exact same size, so I'm not a huge fan of that. I just don't think that it matches up very well, so I'm not a big fan of the scaling there. But I do think the color scheme on this one's really nice, and I think that overall it's an alright pop. So for this one, I'm going to be giving it a 3 out of 5 because I think that it's still a really good representation of BB-8 here. And now we're going to move on to number 7. Okay, so at number 7 we have Poe Dameron, and I'm a big fan of Poe's character. I wasn't as into him in The Last Jedi. I just didn't really enjoy where they took his character. I thought that it was like okay for some moments, but just the entire storyline of Last Jedi just does not meld well with me. I would really like to talk about it more in depth because I'm not going to go super in depth in this video because that's not the topic. But for this design here, I think that it looks really great on Poe. I really like the outfit chosen for him here, and I like kind of his, I don't even know what you would call it, just his shadowing there on his face looks really nice for his facial hair, and I like his hairdo on this one as well. I think that it looks really great. So for Poe, I'm going to give him a score of 3 out of 5. I think that he's pretty cool, about the same as BB-8, and it's kind of good that they match up together because they're kind of an original pairing in the series. So I like how this one came out, and let's move on to number 6. Alright, at number 6 we have the Bruges Rocket Red, and sorry if I mispronounced that at all, but I think this one looks really great here. It's kind of the similar molding as the other trooper included in this wave, but I love the red color scheme here with the black. If you guys know me well, I really enjoy that color scheme together, so I think it just makes this one stand out so much more than the other one, and I think it improves upon my issue that I had with the other one of it just having a very bland color scheme, but this one definitely shines a lot more here, so that's why it's higher up on the list, and that's why I'm going to be giving it a 3.5 out of 5. I think that it's a really great looking pop here, and just came out looking fantastic, so that's why it's at this spot, and let's move on to number 5. Okay, at number 5 here we have Finn, and now I think that Finn looks really great in this Funko Pop. I think that they really nailed his hairstyle here. He really looks like John Boyega here. I think that it's a very good representation of his character. I have not been a very big fan of any of the previous Finn Pops. I haven't even picked up a single one, even though I'm an individual who really actually likes the character in the series, but I just think that they really nailed his character here. This is probably one that I may consider picking up. I'm not too sure at the moment, but I think that he looks really great, and depending on how significant of a role that they give him in this movie, I'm not too sure whether I'll pick it up or not, but I think that the pop looks really great. So for this one, I'm going to be giving it a 4 out of 5. I think that they really nailed his look, and I just really love how it came out. So let's move on to the next one. At number 4, we have Lando Calrissian. Of course, it is the grand return of his character here in the Star Wars universe. I really love that they got back Billy D. Williams. I think that he does a fantastic job of portraying the character in the original trilogy, and it's going to be amazing to have him back in this film, kind of filling that hole that Harrison Ford left for the Han Solo character, of course, and I think that this pop looks great. It's a really cool representation of him, still keeping that classic Lando color scheme going on, but also adding that blaster there, a larger one here, and I love how his hair looks, and I like how he kind of just looks kind of uninterested here. He just looks like he's like, yeah, I've seen about everything, so nothing really surprises me anymore. So for this pop, I'm going to be giving it a 4 out of 5. I think that this one nailed the design here. Similar to Finn, I think that it's a really accurate representation of the character. Now, unsimilar from that, I actually own a Lando already, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna get this one. I know that obviously the ones that I own are like a younger version, but I do like how this one came out. I'm just not too sure how big of a role he will play in the film, but I think that he looks really great nonetheless, and let's go on to the next one. Alrighty, so at number 3 here, I'm taking a little bit of a gamble with this ranking. We have Jana, and I'm not sure if I pronounced her name right. I'm sure I completely butchered it, but I really love the design of this character. I know that I previously said, oh, I don't like to judge them unless I really know the character, but for this one, I think her design just looks so cool. I really love her cape that she's wearing. I like how she's wielding a bow there. I think that her hair sculpt looks really nice with her headpiece on there. I think that her character just looks really uniquely designed and really stands out to me. When I first saw the wave revealed as a whole, she really stood out to me. So for this one, I'm going to be giving it a 4.5 out of 5. I think that it nails the design of this character, because we have seen a few glimpses of her in the trailer, so I do kind of know her design, and I think that this one's very accurate to it. So really excited to see her role in the film. I hope that it's a large role so that we get to know more about her character, and let's move on to number 2. Okay, so at number 2 we have Rey, and she looks fantastic in this pop. I absolutely love how she is designed in this one. I think she looks so cool in her stance here wielding the lightsaber. I don't think I'll ever get sick of getting new Rey pops. I just love Daisy Ridley. She has such a good portrayal of the character. She is one of the best parts of Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, and I think that she just has a great representation of her character here in this Funko Pop form. I think that it looks fantastic and is a really great addition to the line. So for this one, I'm going to be giving it a perfect 5 out of 5. This one is definitely really cool and just an absolutely phenomenal looking sculpt here. So really excited for this one, and let's move on to the number 1 spot in the list. Alright, so at number 1, let's cut to the chase here. We have Kylo Ren, and he looks amazing. I think this may very well be the best Kylo Ren pop that we have got. Now, I'm sure we're going to eventually get an exclusive version where he has a glow-in-the-dark lightsaber, but personally, I've never really been too interested or picky about whether I get the common or the glow-in-the-dark version, and I'm not saying that there is going to be glow-in-the-dark, it's just more likely that there will be, but for this one, I think that it looks great. I love all of the cracks in his helmet there. It just makes him look even more menacing, and I like how it adds more red coloring to his outfit there. It's a lot more highlights on there, and I think that his pose just looks really great. His classic stance of just holding his lightsaber down there, I think that it looks really cool, and he just looks amazing. I really love his color scheme here. Of course, I'm really partial and biased to a red and black color scheme, and I think it nails it here. So that's why this one's at number 1, and I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5 once again, of course, similar to Rey. I know the 2 main characters of the film, but I just love how both of them came out here. I think they look amazing and are just such accurate representations of both of the characters in the film. So I'm really excited about all of these, and now we're going to move on to my wants. So for this section here, I'm just going to let you know which pops from the line I do actually want to pick up, at least at the moment. That could potentially change at some point, but for now I only have 2 guaranteed wants on my list, and those are going to be Rey and Kylo Ren. I think that these 2 are just really fantastic. Of course, I know the characters at this point, and with my Funko Pop collecting, I'm trying to be a little bit more picky as to which pops I buy, so I kind of want to not blind blind buy Pops. I know that I said some of these, I ranked them pretty high in the list, but I want to actually see their roles in the film. But I know really no matter what role Rey or Kylo have in the film, I'm still going to want to pick up their Funko Pops, so that's why they're on my wants list, at least for the moment. That could potentially change once the film comes out, or if just one of the Pops looks really amazing in person, then I might just blind buy it anyway. But I think that these two look really fantastic and definitely stand out. And now we're going to move on to the final verdict / the final score for this line. Alright, so the final score for this Funko Pop line here for the Rise of Skywalker is out of 70, and in total this wave scored a 46 out of 70, which translates to 66%, which I think is a fairly good score for the line. I feel like with a Star Wars wave, there's a lot of characters that are kind of lackluster, especially at this point as well. This score could potentially go up depending on how much I enjoy the film and how much I enjoy these minor characters, at least how they are right now. Like, I'm totally unaware of their role in the film, so I'm not sure. The score could go up, but for the moment it's going to be a 66%. And just my final thoughts on the wave here are just that I think that it came out really well. I really love how it looks. I think the box designs are really good for it as well. The sculpts are very unique. I definitely love all of the improvements that they've made to these characters, and it's very fitting since this will most likely be the last film that all of these characters take part in, and it's fitting how these designs are very, like, really well done. I think that they finally nailed every single character's designs, at least for the ones that were in the previous films, like Finn, Rey, Kylo Ren, Poe Dameron, BB-8. I think they've really nailed all of their designs in this wave, so that's very fitting. And overall, I feel like it's a pretty well-rounded wave, and a nice large wave as well for the first one, because we're bound to get many waves to this movie, so I'm sure we're going to get up to like maybe 4 or 5 waves. But for now, this wave has definitely not disappointed. I really enjoy all of the Pops in it, and let me know your thoughts on the Funko Pops in this wave. Let me know your rankings down below as well, and also if you enjoyed the video and want to see more ranking videos or just any other videos that I do on the channel, be sure to give it a look and just let me know your thoughts on my channel. And also, I would really appreciate if you could leave a like on this video and also subscribe to the channel as well if you want to see any future content or go back and watch any previous content as well. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. I will see you all next time, and always remember, keep on collecting.